Right now, sitting in your pantry, there is at least one item that could seriously harm your family. And the worst part? You probably put it there thinking you were being responsible, thinking you were ahead of the curve. I know that feeling, because I've been there. I spent years building what I thought was a solid, well-organized food storage setup. And then I discovered that 5 of the most common items people keep in their pantry are quietly creating health hazards, fire risks, and in one case, the perfect conditions for one of the most lethal natural toxins on Earth. This isn't an exaggeration. Every single item I'm about to walk you through is backed by food safety data, and I'm going to tell you exactly what. The danger is, how to spot it, and what to do instead. Some of these you'll recognize right away. Others are going to genuinely shock you. And that 5th one, the one that made me completely reorganize my kitchen. Stick around for that, because it's the one nobody's talking about. Here's what you need to know. Potatoes. Nearly every household in the country has a bag of potatoes sitting somewhere in their pantry right now. They're cheap, versatile, they last a while, which makes them a go-to for anyone trying to stretch a grocery budget or build out a food supply. But here's what most people don't know about them. Potatoes produce a naturally occurring toxin called solanine. It's a glycoalkaloid, and it develops when potatoes are exposed to light, warmth, or when they start sprouting. You've seen it before, that greenish tint just under the skin. A lot of people cut around the green part and keep cooking. That's a mistake. Solanine doesn't break down with heat. Boiling, frying, baking, none of it neutralizes the compound. In small amounts, it causes nausea, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. In larger doses, you're looking at neurological symptoms like headaches, confusion, and even hallucinations. There have been documented cases of solanine poisoning requiring hospitalization, and in extreme historical cases, it has been fatal. Now here's where this becomes a specific problem for pantry storage. A warm, dark pantry is essentially an incubator for sprouting. Those potatoes you bought 2 weeks ago. If your pantry stays above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and most home pantries do, those potatoes are actively producing higher and higher levels of solanine every single day. And if they're sealed in a plastic bag, you're trapping moisture and ethylene gas, which accelerates the entire process. So what's the fix? Get your potatoes out of the pantry. Store them in a cool, dark, well-ventilated space, ideally between 45 and 50 degrees. A garage, a basement, or a root cellar works. Never store potatoes in plastic bags. Use paper bags, burlap sacks, or mesh containers that allow airflow. And if you're buying in bulk, rotate your supply weekly. Don't just stack bags and forget them. One sprouting. Potato can accelerate spoilage in every potato touching it. One more thing on this. Never store your potatoes next to your onions. I know it seems logical to keep them together, but onions release gases that cause potatoes to sprout faster. Keep them completely separate. This next one is the most dangerous item on this entire list, and I mean that literally. Home canned foods and certain store-bought cans can harbor Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for producing botulinum toxin. You probably know it as botulism. It is one of the most potent toxins known to science. A microscopic amount, we're talking nanograms, can be lethal. And here's the terrifying part. You cannot see it. You cannot smell it. You cannot taste it. A jar of home canned green beans can look perfectly fine, smell completely normal, and contain enough toxin to put someone in the hospital or worse. Botulism thrives in low oxygen, low acid environments. That's exactly what a sealed canning jar creates. If the canning process wasn't done at the correct temperature, specifically 240 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure for low acid foods, the bacteria can survive and multiply inside that jar for months or even years. And this isn't theoretical. The CDC documents cases of botulism from home canned foods every single year in the United States. Now, I'm not telling you to stop canning. Canning is an incredible skill and a cornerstone of food preservation. But you need to be meticulous about it. Use tested recipes from reliable sources like the USDA Complete Guide to Home Canning or the National Center for Home Food Preservation. Never modify processing times. never use damaged equipment. And absolutely never use the water bath method for low-acid foods like meat, corn, green beans, or most vegetables. Those require pressure canning. No shortcuts, no exceptions. For store-bought cans, the rules are simpler, but just as critical. Never use a can that's dented along the seam. Seam damage can create micro-openings that let bacteria in. If a can is bulging, swollen, or hisses when you open it, do not taste it. Don't smell it. Don't try to salvage it. Dispose of it immediately. And if you notice cloudiness in liquid that should be clear, that's another warning sign you shouldn't ignore. This matters especially for people who stockpile canned goods. I've seen pantries with cans that are 3, 4, 5 years old, shoved to the back of a shelf and completely forgotten. Every can in your storage needs regular inspection. Rotate your stock, first in, first out. Mark the purchase date on every can with a permanent marker. Takes 2 seconds and could genuinely save a life. And if you ever suspect botulism contamination, don't just toss it in the kitchen trash where a child or pet could reach it. Double bag it in sealed plastic and dispose of it safely. Cooking oil. It's in every pantry, and most people never give it a second thought once they bring it home from the store. That's a problem, because the way most households store cooking oil is silently turning it into something you really don't want to be consuming. When oil goes rancid, and this happens much faster than most people realize, it doesn't just taste off. Rancid oil contains oxidized compounds, including aldehydes and free radicals, that have been associated in published research with increased inflammation and cellular damage over time. One study in the Journal of Food Science found that repeated consumption of oxidized oil can contribute to oxidative stress at the cellular level. This isn't something you feel overnight. It builds up. So how fast does oil actually go rancid? Faster than you'd expect. Most cooking oils, vegetable, canola, sunflower, have a shelf life of about 6 to 12 months once opened. But that timeline assumes proper storage. And a warm pantry is one of the worst possible environments for oil. Heat, light, and oxygen are the 3 enemies of cooking oil, and your pantry likely delivers all 3. If your pantry is near your stove, or if it gets warm from daily kitchen activity, you're accelerating oxidation dramatically. Oil stored above 70 degrees Fahrenheit degrades at a significantly faster rate. And if you're keeping oil in a clear bottle near a window or under a light source, that's making things even worse. The fix is straightforward. Store your cooking oils in a cool, dark place, ideally below 65 degrees. Use opaque or dark-tinted containers. Seal the cap tightly after every use. And for bulk storage, which a lot of preppers invest in, do not buy massive quantities expecting it to last for years. It won't. Even unopened, most standard cooking oils degrade within 18 to 24 months. If you want oil for long-term storage, consider coconut oil for its naturally longer shelf life, or look into properly sealed extra virgin olive oil kept in optimal conditions. And please, do yourself a favor. Sniff your oil before you use it. If it smells like crayons, old paint, or has any sharp, unpleasant chemical odor, it's done. Don't cook with it. Don't think seasoning will cover the taste. Toss it. This 4th one is going to catch some of you off guard, because it seems like the most innocent thing in the world. Flour. Plain old flour, sitting in your pantry in the same paper bag you carried home from the grocery store. Here's what most people don't realize. Under certain conditions, flour dust is genuinely explosive. That's not hyperbole. Grain dust explosions have been documented for over a century in industrial settings, flour mills, grain elevators, processing facilities. When fine flour particles become suspended in air inside a confined space and encounter an ignition source, a spark, a pilot light, even static electricity, the result can be a rapid combustion event. Now, is your home pantry going to explode from a bag of flour? Realistically, the chance is extremely small. But the risk exists on a smaller scale in ways most people never consider. If you're scooping flour in a tight, enclosed pantry near any kind of heat source or open flame, you're creating a miniature version of those industrial conditions. Rare? Yes. Impossible? No. And it's worth knowing about. But The more common and practical danger with flour storage is biological. Flour is a magnet for weevils, pantry moths, and other pests that can infest your entire food supply in a matter of weeks. One poorly sealed bag is all it takes. The eggs are often already in the flour when you buy it. Too small to see, just waiting for warm, humid conditions to hatch. And once those pests establish themselves, they don't stay contained. They'll spread to rice, oats, pasta, cereal, and anything else within reach. On top of that, flour stored in warm, humid environments can develop mold and mycotoxins you might not even detect visually. Mycotoxins are toxic compounds produced by certain mold species, and they've been connected to liver damage and immune system suppression in research literature. The fix is simple but essential. Never store flour in its original paper bag for more than a week or two. Transfer it into an airtight, food-grade container, glass, heavy plastic, or metal with a solid seal. For long-term storage, freeze your flour for at least 48 hours before transferring it to containers. That kills any eggs or larvae already present. Keep your storage area dry and as cool as you can manage. And if you're buying bulk flour for serious preparedness, Mylar bags paired with oxygen absorbers are the gold standard for shelf life. And now the fifth item. This is the one that honestly made me rethink my entire approach to pantry design. It's not a food item at all. It's the cleaning products and household chemicals that millions of families store in, near, or right alongside their food pantry. Think about your own setup for a second. How many households keep bleach, ammonia-based cleaners, pest sprays, or other chemical products on a shelf in the same closet or cabinet where food lives? It's incredibly common, especially in smaller homes and apartments where storage space is tight. And it is a genuinely dangerous habit. First, there's the contamination issue. Chemical fumes from cleaners and pesticides can permeate food packaging, especially cardboard boxes, paper bags, and even some thinner plastics. You might not smell anything, but trace chemical compounds can migrate into your food over time. The FDA has clear guidelines about separating food from chemicals for exactly this reason. Commercial kitchens get flagged for this constantly during inspections. Your home should follow the same principle. Second, there's the accidental mixing risk. If a bottle leaks, and bottles do leak, especially older ones with weakened seals, and that liquid contacts another chemical product or food packaging, you're dealing with a situation that ranges from contaminated groceries to actual toxic gas production. Bleach and ammonia, two of the most common household cleaners, produce chloramine gas when they combine. That can cause serious respiratory damage and has sent people to emergency rooms. Third, for homes with children, storing chemicals at the same level and in the same space as snacks and food creates an obvious hazard that doesn't need much explanation. Even for adults, reaching into a dark pantry and grabbing the wrong bottle has happened more often than anyone cares to admit. The solution here is non-negotiable. Complete separation. Cleaning products and household chemicals need their own dedicated storage space, entirely apart from anything you eat. Under the bathroom sink, in a garage cabinet, in a utility closet, anywhere that isn't your food storage area. And if you truly cannot create separate storage due to space limitations, at the very least keep chemicals on the lowest shelf, food on the highest, and use sealed, leak-proof containers for every single chemical product. So there it is. 5 items sitting in pantries all across the country, and every single one of them carries a risk that's completely avoidable once you know what to look for. Sprouting potatoes generating toxins in a forgotten corner, improperly sealed jars, and dented cans quietly harboring one of the deadliest natural substances known to science. Cooking oil slowly breaking down into compounds your body doesn't want. Flour attracts pests and creates conditions most people never thought twice about. And household chemicals sitting inches away from the food your family eats every single day. None of this requires hundreds of dollars or a full kitchen renovation. Most of these fixes take an afternoon. Move a few items to better spots. Swap out some storage containers. Start labeling and rotating your cans. Inspect your jars. Separate your chemicals from your food. That's it. Small changes, massive differences. The people who get through difficult times, whether that's a supply chain disruption, a price surge, or an actual emergency aren't always the ones with the biggest stockpiles. They're the ones who stored things the right way. Quality and knowledge beat sheer quantity every single time. If this video opened your eyes to even one thing you didn't know before, share it with someone in your life who keeps a stocked pantry. Not everyone is paying attention to these details, and the people you care about deserve the same information you just heard. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 surprised you the most. I genuinely want to know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, come join us. I put out new research like this every week, and the goal never changes, keeping you and your family one step ahead. Stay safe, stay sharp. I'll see you in the next one.